Yo, yo, yo. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. It's 2 3s, not 3 3s, and I'm back with a new video. And today we're gonna be talking about how overpowered or balanced Kyurem and Ogerpon are, and are they very similar in the tier, and why I believe this. So the reason I came up with this idea is because people want to suspect Kyurem and Ogerpon, and these guys are kinda on the chopping block in my opinion. The player base believe that these two and maybe even Zamazenta are probably the most controversial monster we have in the tier right now. So, I was just playing this guy, and he was talking about how this mon will never make sense. You can't run a legit and you can't run anything against this Pokemon because it's so powerful. Because there's so many variants of this Pokemon, right? And I was thinking about this when I was talking to him, so I was like, yeah, but it's a little slow to be completely broken. Because if it was a little faster, if it was 370 speed or even 380, not even 380, 380 of course would be broken. But if it was 370 tier, like 370 speed tier, or even 360 maybe, who knows? The fact that it has 360 or 370, I think it would be broken because it would definitely be a little too hard to revenge kill because the only reason why this mon is in the OU tiers because it's slow and it can take hazards, as we're gonna talk about this in this game. Because I was like, yeah, so I'm like, yeah, but it's a little slow to be completely broken. He said that 350 ain't slow, but the thing is with Ogerpon is your opponents can, if you're using an Ogerpon, like if I'm using an Ogerpon and my opponent brings a balance team like this, it's gonna get completely destroyed. Like the reason why that they don't lose to Ogerpon is using Pult and Corviknight. And well, even when this guy has a Pult and Corviknight, we can see like what happens in this guy. Like, I lead off with Weezing. He goes to the Pult. In my mind, I'm like, yo, this is either banned or specs, but I'm just gonna stay in. Right? He goes for a U-turn, and I figure out this is banded, right? So I switch out eventually. Let's see what happens when I bring in Ogerpon. So my mindset is he's either gonna Stealth Rock here. He's not gonna. He's not, because I already had Tinglu. He's not gonna expect me to go for. He's not gonna go for a T-Wave on the Tinglu, right? So sorry about that. I just choked. But yeah, no. That's my mindset. He goes for Stealth Rock. I go for a knockoff, predicting that he'll go Pulse, right? And this is where the entire thought process of my opponent was like, "Yo, this pawn is broken." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's not really because we have so many mons that are just like faster and like can survive the spawn in the tier." But I can see the argument. Like it's like definitely a really good mon. Like if not, it is on the cusp of being broken. But it made me start thinking about how this mon and this mon, these two mons are very comparable with each other, if not almost very similar, because we have DD Kyurem, which is the best set in the tier, or you can run loaded dice Gusha like I did, right? But obviously this mon is one of the best mons that we have to fight against in the tier, and I'm like, yo, like it of course is a little bit broken, right? Just a little bit, but the reason why it's broken is because it's set variety, right? With Kyurem, you could run into specs, you could run into heavy duty boots, you could run into multiple SKUs of multiple stats, and it's like you gotta find the right one to counter it. It just feels like it can run over teams if you let it just set up with one turn, right? So even this is one guy on the ladder. I don't know his name. I think it's Bluden or something. Uh, his Kyurem set. He's a modest Kyurem set. Runs Ice Beam, Scale Shot. Not even modest. I think it's Rash. Ice Beam, Scale Shot, EP, uh, and not DD, is it? I think it might be Dragon Dance, right? So he runs this set. You basically, since he's like what Rash, which is special attack, more special defense, which is fine because Kyurem has decent stuff anyways. Like what happens is he usually what he does is he goes for Ice Beam EP, expecting you to think that he's either boots or like like some weird special care, because usually when you're mixed, you don't run Ice Beam. But then he goes for a Scale Shot, DD, and it's like you're cooked. You're kind of cooked at that point. So it's like Kyurem has like even I get cooked by it. Like this mon has a lot of set variety, and I don't think it's broken in my opinion. Sorry, let me just actually show you the sprites because this shit's not loading the Pokemon there. So yeah, it's not broken, but it's just like there has a lot of tools to make it broken, which is kind of like contradicting of what I'm saying. So I get what that. Well, I get the opinion. So these two are very, what's it called? They're very similar in the chance that like their fourth move slot is like it can make or break your teams, right? So Ogerpon, everybody runs Swords Dance, Play Rough, Power Whip. But the thing is with this mon, it can live for so long. Most people run Power Whip. You know me, I love Horn Leech, so I run Horn Leech for that longevity. And look, as we see in this game, you know, I was saying how like the weaknesses of Ogerpon, since it cannot run heavy duty boots, is you gotta set up hazards. If you don't set up hazards, you're gonna lose to Ogerpon, right? And this is what he did. He was complaining about it. I'm like, yeah, I told you, like it can be revenged. Since it's 350 speed, 350 speed tier. So I'm like, yo, you just gotta set up your hazards. I didn't tell him that, of course, because I'm his opponent. And I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna try to get the Quarv down enough so I can kill him. And because I'm like, yo, since Ogre is like basically like at almost 100%, I can kill something. He goes Palton, the normal stuff. He kills my Weezing, and I set up rocks to put on pressure. Right? He goes what does he do? He goes Corv on my Tinglu, and I bring in Ogerpon to put on the pressure. Expecting him to go for I think Roost. And I looked at the calc and I didn't realize I didn't kill. I just wanted to put on pressure. And I thought he would go for a body press there. He goes for a U-turn, which is great for him. And this is where he puts on hazards, right? Look, he sets up hazards. He sets up 3 turns of hazards. And, look at what happens. I realize that I have to bring in Ogerpon right now. I can't let him go for a spike here. As he goes for another spike because he's really scared of my Ogerpon. Right? So he does this. And, for me, in my head, I'm like, yo, I have to go for a Horn Leech here. If I don't get this Horn Leech off, then the longevity of Ogerpon just dwindles. And Horn Leech in general would do like probably 60% to Tingling, so I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Luckily, my opponent might be a little stupid. He Terror Waters, making me go for Ivy Cudgel, and this is what the Horn Leech longevity comes through. Now, because of this, Ogerpon's back to 50% health, and it can freely switch in on the next turn. I'll be at 20% maybe, but I can always Horn Leech up, and at this point, Paul can't revenge kill me because it's Stealth Rock stuff. Great Tusk will die at Ivy Cudgel, and I think it's literally just a sweep from Ogerpon. Right, so I just bring in Crown, get a Volt Switch off free, go into my own Ogerpon again, just go for Ivy Cudgel, and he forfeits. And it's like, yeah, of course, these two are very similar. I was thinking about that just now, because I was like, Kyurem is hazard weak depending on the set. Usually they don't run heavy duty boots, but, it's more of a, usually they run just an item slot, just because of the offensive potency of Kyurem, right? So, that's the thing. These two are very similar, very in talks of being broken. Some people want a third suspect text for this guy. No one's getting a suspect text for this guy. This guy deserves to be low YouTube. These two specifically. They all have their flaws in their own ways, man. You gotta understand that, right? But, Ogerpon ain't broken. Kyurem ain't broken, but very similar. That's the main point of my video. In my opinion, if we're gonna suspect anything soon, I think it should be Terra Blast. Why I believe this is because of this Pokemon right here. This mon completely makes fucking the tier you're like kind of impossible to play against when you play against Terra Blast. The Terra Blast Kyurem basically runs through teams and it's kind of unfair. Terra Fire is a good step. I like Terra Electric because it can beat Dondozo almost if you can dwindle down to Dondozo. But yeah, I think Terra Blast should be suspected, in my opinion. Finch mentioned that he might do a suspect for Terra Blast, but let me just search it up to confirm. Terra Blast. This is just the qualified base for Palfin suspect, which I was part of. I can't find anything about it right now, but just want to let you know about that. But anyways, main point of this video was to talk about why these two are very similar. Some people might think they're broken, but with the limitations that these both have, very hazard weak, both of them, right? They're not as super fast, right? They can boost their speed with Trailblaze or Dragon Dance, but they're not immediately threatening as for this last problem, right? So you gotta find your counterplays. My entire point of this video is want to explain that. So it's gonna be a short one. Just want to talk about it. Get some videos out and just want to talk about it because of this. I saw this replay of my opponent crying, so I just wanted to make a point about how both of these guys are very similar. So yeah, I'm probably gonna post a live right now, but probably do it soon. Okay, see you guys next time. Peace.